Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this webinar for Insights Humanizing Innovation session with industry. Before I begin, let me briefly introduce myself. I'm Yeng, one of the lecturers from Faculty of Information Science and Technology in Multimedia University. I'm mainly involved with teaching and research related to computer vision, data science, and artificial intelligence to help my faculty FIC to prepare IT competent personnel to serve in the new and fast-growing knowledge-based industry. I'm the moderator for today's webinar session. Today is embracing technology for high-quality customer experience in hospitality industry. I believe everyone here are aware that the global pandemic has confronted the hospitality sector with an unprecedented challenge, particularly damaging for hotels and tourism. With tourism being the third largest contributor to Malaysia's gross domestic product, this 2 years pandemic impact has led to a sharp decline in hotel occupancy and revenues. Moving towards the post-pandemic stage, the hotel industry starts showing encouraging signs of business recovery. While the hospitality industry is slowly recovering, they are expected to make substantial changes to their operations in order to ensure employees and customers' health and safety. Therefore, embracing technology for high-quality customer experience in hospitality industry become the focal point. Will you be wondering, how can digital transformation help struggling hospitality industry to recover their businesses during post-pandemic? Today, we are very fortunate to have two experts from industry and academy. Our first speaker Let's get started. We will start with the first speaker, Mr. Jason Lee from Softinn Solution. Over to you, Mr. Jason.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Thanks, Dr. Ong. And first of all, I would like to express my gratitude to MMU, my fellow speakers, Dr. Ong and Dr. Shohel, and others who have helped make this webinar. Right. While waiting for the slides, let me briefly introduce myself. I am Jason, the founder and co-founder and CEO of Softinn Solutions. Softinn is basically a hotel technology company providing SaaS product to boutique hotels. We do have products like property management system, channel manager, kiosk, and etc. Okay. So while waiting for the slides, maybe I'll cover what I'm going to present today. It's that's where me and my co-founder Karen came up with this idea, Softinn, targeting hotels. That was in year 2010, many years ago. So next slide, please. So, and that's me many years ago presenting the slides to the audience. And then back then we just have an idea, a dream to innovate this industry. Then fast forward today. Next slide, please. So today we are serving 5 products. We registered the business in year 2013, and now we have 5 products targeting hotel. At the moment, we are serving more than 160 hotel brands and more than 1,000 hospitality businesses, ranging from resorts, vacation rentals, to boutique hotels. Okay? We focus a lot in hotels with 80 rooms in Asia Pacific. As of today, one of our products, the property management system, was used by the hotel to check in 5,000 check-in and outs a day on average. And the other product, the direct booking engine used by the hotel to receive what would the industry need post-pandemic. So we came up with this idea of hotel kiosks. We believe the world post-pandemic might be slightly different. We saw the opportunity to self-service kiosks, and then we developed one. So as of today, we have received 13 orders and deployed 8 kiosks in the hotels. And some of our hotel clients use this technology to serve unmanned hotel concept. Basically, imagine you book online, arrive at the hotel, and check in and check out without going through the counter. So that's a rough introduction of the company. So next, I'm going to talk about the hotel industry based on our understanding how it works, and then what are the key players in this ecosystems. And I will talk about some of the subsystems to put you into the context. When I talk about hotel, I talk about boutique hotels. Most of my clients are shop lot converted hotels. And then we do have 4-star hotels with 100 over rooms, but most of my clients are boutique hotels. And then we work with a lot of small hotels and also the resorts. Next slide, please. So then this is one of the resorts using our systems. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so in year 2017, while we were trying to learn about the industry, we tried to put together a diagram to understand the ecosystems, what are the systems used by the hotel, and also trying to understand the journey that takes traveler to the hotel, right? So that's what we came up to. The first layer of the systems that we could categorize is search engine. So a lot of guests use Google, Okay. I will just sorry. There was some technical issues that we saw on the live chat that there was no sound. Just to make sure I can be heard now. Do give me a response on Facebook Live if you can hear me. Okay. So I'll just continue and see whether it works this time. Okay. I'm gonna redo this again. If you happen to listen for the first round, sorry, yeah, but we are just halfway. So basically, I'm a CEO and a co-founder of Softinn. So in my presentations today, I'm going to talk about the company in general, and we're going to talk about, thank you, Kin. So we're going to talk about the hospitality industry in general. I will cover some of the subsystems in the industry and trying to explain based on my understandings of what are the ecosystems, what are the subsystems playing a role in this hospitality industry. So lastly, I will talk about our company journey in terms of product development cycles, growing from one product to 5 products. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, do I have to cover the background? I'll just go with the normal flow, yeah? So
No, wait, Jason. Mr. Bohan, you have to show the slide together with the speaker face because the sound is not coming out.
Okay.
Okay. Now we start again. Sorry, everyone. Very sorry, everyone.
Okay, so sorry for the challenge. We are sorting out the technical issues here. While you guys are waiting, let me gonna introduce myself. I'm basically Jason and a CEO and co-founder of Softinn. I'm also an alumni to MMU. So I did my engineering degree in Faculty of Engineering and Technology. Okay, and this is a picture of me with my housemates. Sorry, this is a picture I took. You know, if you are trying to look for myself in the photo, I'm not in because I was the one taking the photo. So during my in university life, I took part in a lot of competitions. Next slide, please. So one of the competitions I took part is a basket. I happened to represent, play in basketball team for MMU. Here, I learned about leaderships. I learned about teamwork. I learned about putting effort into winning some things. And on top of that, in terms of business, I do take part in business plan competitions where, for an engineering student, it's fascinating to learn about business plan, to learn about financial statements. Here, me and my co-founder presented this company, the idea Softinn. So next slide, please. So this is the slides that many years ago I was presenting Softinn in the business plan competitions. Back then it was just an idea. We do not have any customers and a dream. It's just an idea and a dream to change the hotel industry, right? So next slide, please. So from here, we fast forward. We registered the business in year 2013. As of now, we have 5 products targeting hotels with less than 80 rooms in Asia Pacific. We are currently serving more than 160 hotel brands and also more than 1,000 hospitality businesses, ranging from resorts, vacation rentals to tree houses. So one of our product, the property management system, is used by the hotelier to check in and out the guests. So on average, we are processing 5,000 check-in and out a day. So the other product, the direct booking engine, is used by the hotelier to receive direct bookings on their websites. On average, we are processing 60,000 a day. So on the screens, you can see that some of my customers, and because of them, we grew. And then we also won some awards overseas, like from Japan, Singapore. So next slide, please. Okay, so during the pandemic, as you all know, it affected the business. So a lot of our customers were suffering. And back then in the office, we were trying to look for what should we do post-pandemic. What would the industry need after the COVID pandemic? So the world might be slightly different. So we came up with the idea of kiosk because we believe post-pandemic people would wanted to have less human interactions, and also we also foresee that the labor in the industry might be not recovering fast, as compared to the industry. So because a lot of the people who left the hotel industry during the COVID pandemic might not come back, to work in this industry. So that's why we came up with this idea of hotel kiosks. As of now, we have sold 13 and deployed 8. And some of the hotels in some way use this to create an unmanned hotel concept whereby imagine you can book online and arrive at the hotel, check in without going through the counter. Same goes to check out. So that's what we have done. Okay. So next I'm gonna talk about the hospitality industry in general. Next, please. So to give you a context, when I talk about hotel, I focus mainly about boutique hotels, like the shop lot converted hotels. Next, and also resorts like this. So these are some of my customers. Next, so in year 2017, while we try to understand who are the players in this hotel industry, the ecosystems, and we were trying to understand what it takes for a traveler before they arrive at the hotel. So we came up with this diagram. So next slide. So we found that the first layer of interactions happens on search engine, online travel agencies, meta search, and hotel search engine. So most of the guests will search on Google, eventually found their hotels, and then they book with an online travel agencies like Agoda to make a reservations. While doing so, sometimes they check meta search for review, they check the price, etc. So then on top of consumer facings, we found that there is also a B2B front to this, where the hotel search engine like a bed banks do serve the B2B market. So once a reservation is made, the next layer came in, right? We have GDS, we have property management systems, and we have channel manager. So for the property management system is used by the hotel to record the reservations, to keep track of the payments, and for channel manager will be used by the hotel to manage the online travel agencies, right? So next. Okay, and this diagram can be expanded to to different. So sorry for the slides. I think there were some issues here, but I will try to explain using my verbally. So on top of the hotel, right, the travel industry is bigger, so that there are tour and activities segment. There is also a peer sharing economy like Airbnb, HomeAway. There was travel insurance. There was also in general, there are a lot of players in this industry, basically either doing distributions for the hotel or the tour players, of doing the fulfillment automations of making sure we serve the customers, right? So next slide, please. So next, I'm gonna walk you through a journey for reservations go from the left to the right. Like imagine how a reservation is being made on OTA all the way, what happens before you arrive at the hotel and check in. So next slide. So imagine if you make a reservations on bookings.com, right? What happens next is that a product called Channel Manager will get the reservations from the online travel agencies like bookings.com and push those informations to the hotel PMS, right? Next slide, please. So PMS is a short form for property management system. It is basically like an operating system used by the hotel to manage guest check-in and out. So imagine without channel manager, in the past, hotel will have to monitor their emails and making sure that every reservations made were recorded in the PMS, and they do it manually. So, and when we do it manually, we are prone to human error, and there's a lot of manual work. And it came about when the guests make modifications, booking modifications on OTA. They have to pay attention to the changes. So with Channel Manager, things are automated. So there was no need for the hotelier to actually pay attention to the changes in the reservations, things will just work seamlessly. So next slide, please. With the PMS and the guest reservations data, next layer of automations is self-check-in. So as I mentioned, we have kiosks. So with those informations of guest arrival today, going out, and also payment, kiosks would have the ability to serve the hotel guests, like imagine you book on bookings.com, the PMS knew that, or there's still outstanding payment. When you arrive at the hotel, it will ask for the balance before they issue a room key. Likewise, if you are checking out from a hotel room, the kiosk will know that you have paid a security deposit. It will refund the security deposits before checking out and issue the receipt. So while what I'm showing here is the consumer front, but actually there's a lot more happening behind the scene. So the PMS works more like the operating system coordinating the back office. Imagine you perform a checkout, right? A room will be flagged dirty and a notification will be sent to the housekeeping department. Hey, there's a room pending cleaning and we need to do it quick because the next customer is coming in, right? So the same goes to the accounts department. So we help the accounts department in bookkeeping, syncing the transactions so that helping them to prepare the financial statements. So we do have to work with hardware because as you know, at the counter, you do my card scanning, passport scanning, issue room keys, those are hardware integrations. So this is how basically a reservations go from OTA to the hotel. Now, I wanted to drill a little bit deeper into this channel manager. So next slide, please. So I mentioned that the hotel sell on different OTAs. Imagine a hotel in Malacca with 30 rooms selling on bookings.com, Agoda, Expedia. So imagine if a room was sold on bookings.com. Okay, next slide, please. When a room was sold on bookings.com, the balance available is 29. So in the past, hotel will have to log into Agoda, Expedia to update the balance inventory. They have to do it manually. So like again, this is a time critical activity. If they make the mistakes, that's why you see sometimes online there are guests complaining. They arrive at the hotel to find out that there was no room available to them. So with channel manager, hotel will no longer need to do this manually. So the room balance will be updated automatically on all OTA. So this will prevent overbooking. So next slide, please. So the complexities of these systems will grow horizontally and vertically. Next slide, please. Next. Okay. So for a channel manager, there's more than 250 online travel agencies in the world. So there's a lot of integrations going on in this industry where the channel manager will need to work with each of the online travel agencies. And on top of making sure the available rooms sync, the system will have to make sure the price are synced so that hotel would update at one place, the price will be synced to the rest of the OTA. The same goes to the charges, tax, etc. Okay. Next. So next, I'm going to talk about our journey as a company, how from growing from one product to 5. Next. Okay. I try to put into this 3 columns table. If you pay attention to the right, that I start off with number of product from 1, 2 to 5. 5 is my current stage. So we do measure ourselves by concurrent users. When I say concurrent users, I meant number of users using the product for more than 1 hour concurrently, right? So when we first started, there is 0 concurrent users. Most of the interactions of our users with our systems is like less than 3-5 minutes. They never stay more than an hour. So that is how we started. And from there, we grow into 30 minutes. And now, because of the property management systems and the channel manager, every time we are seeing more than 150 concurrent users interacting with our systems. So on top of the users, we do have API connections with the third-party integrations, etc. So in terms of the cycle, we grow from 2 programmers to 4. We are still understaffed. So if you are looking for a career in programming, do check us out. And the way we design is, when we first started, there's no design. Basically, it's based on verbal. There was no customer interview. We just built what we think works for the market. And then how we test, there's no testing. Basically, we launch first and fix later. So I'm happy to work with a team of talented programmers. Now we are doing a proper product designs, and we have to test the product before we ship it, because it's a mission critical. So every time we ship new updates, right, we have to make sure that it works at the client side. Otherwise, guests can't check in and out, right? So then next slide, please. So in terms of architecture, we started off as a cloud product. So we use a very basic web architecture on the cloud. And then from there, we grow into using cloud with microservices to optimize the cost, to optimize the interaction and response time to the users. In terms of infrastructure, the benefit of using cloud is that we grow our infra organically and without the need of investing into hardware. So we just pay for our usage. And at the time where there's a lot more user, we just have to upgrade our plans and or maybe pay just more for our usage. In terms of programming language, we started off with ASP.MVC. jQuery, in the past, we used a lot of JavaScript for front end. Then we found out that we can't rely on JavaScript because it is more prone to error, because there was no compilation error until we ship the product and until we check on the browser. So we moved from ASP.MVC jQuery to ASP.MVC AngularJS. But from there, we also adopted TypeScript. TypeScript is a subset of JavaScript where it enables a compilation error, so that error can be caught earlier in the cycles of the product development. And now we are moving towards ASP.NET 6 for performance and Angular. Next. So this is the web architecture we use when we first started. Very simple. We have a production server, and we have one database and internet access to our server. And from there, we go to, next slide, please. From there, we started to use diagnostic tool. We monitor the performance of our applications, and we identify areas of improvements and also areas with performance issue. Then we tweak the product. Okay, so next slide, please. So this is a slide where I zoom out from the architecture that I've just showed. Next slide, please. And here now what we are trying to do is we try to go into CI/CD, continuous integration and continuous deployment. So a code would be shipped faster, and also we have introduced some of the unit tests programmatically to make sure calculations are done right. And we adopted microservices. We are migrating all the long-running, high computational work to microservices so that we reduce the workload of the web applications and also optimize the cost for the business. And the systems communicate with each other via event grid. So it's like a lot of subsystems working with each other to serve the hotels and the guests. So next slide, please. So in terms of product design process, I mentioned earlier, we basically don't design, but now what we do is that every year we have this, in Q4 of the year, we will have the product roadmap planning. And what we did every Wednesday, we will have this session where our product lead will lead the discussions of product features or issues that are reported by the customers. And normally we will have sponsors, both internal, external, or sometimes both, that raise the topic, and then we discuss internally. So the support team involved in this discussion, because we have to design a product that is also easy to support, and at the same time, if we could make it self-service. So from there, it goes into budget approval, UI designs, and we sometimes, depends on module, we get feedback from the sponsors. And sometimes we go back and forth in between these steps until we deploy the product. Okay, so next slide. This is an image that I took in year 2017. boutique hotels was using a whiteboard to track their performance manually. And I'm happy that to see that with our systems, the hotels would be able to now do it live using a lot of data. And instead of looking at 3-day forecast, they can look years ahead, and plan their price, optimize the revenue, operation wise, the hotel would be able to coordinate it, their shift better. Next slide, please. So here's a shout out that if you happen to know any hotels who are looking to digitize their business, we Softinn work with MDEC and BSN for this 5,000 SME grant. Basically, it's a grant given by the government for hotels to digitize their business. And if you are looking for a career in programming, and we do accept remote working, and do ping us. And then that will be my presentations. Thank you for watching it live. I know there's a hiccup back and forth, but I hope I present well. And if there's any other questions, feel free to drop in the comment or questions. Thank you. After you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jason. I want to apologize a lot to everyone here, audience, right? So it's really disturbing. As I understand that you will be listening and then there's no sound after you will be looking at the slides. So we are trying to sort this out in the first 10 minutes, all right? And so our team here actually also facing some problems with Facebook Live as there's a connection. All right, so so sometimes we will lose a connection with Facebook Live. So this one, if you are doing Facebook Live, it normally will also happen, but we cannot predict. So bear with us. And last, we finished the whole slides by Mr. Jason. And this is really insightful sharing from Mr. Jason. It's very deep details about how that he start his business from one programmer until today. The products also increasing and how he have done this in the 10 years for 50 to 5,000 businesses in the hospitality industry. And you also can see that his innovation include cloud technology, robotics, and automation can transform the hospitality business operations, as well reshape the customer experience. All right, so for any newcomers here, if you are interested to put any questions, please feel free to write your questions in the Facebook Live. Our next speaker will be coming up. So our next speaker is Associate Prof. Dr. Mohammed Shohel from Faculty of Information Science and Technology. Let us hear from Dr. Shohel's opinion about the technology utilization of the fourth industrial revolution for hospitality industry. Let's welcome Dr. Shohel.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Yeng. So I'm Dr. Shohel. I'm working with Multimedia University since 2001. So very long time working here, and start from the lecturer, and then I'm holding the position of associate professor. So today I'm going to talk about the industrial revolution, fourth industrial revolution, that can be actually the helpful for the hospitality industry. So let me, okay, next slide, please. Okay, today I'm going to discuss about the prospect of the fourth industrial revolution for the hospitality industry. Next, please. Okay, if you look at the fourth industrial revolution, before the fourth industrial revolution, I'm going to talk about the first three industrial revolution. If you look at the first industrial revolution, this is approximately start from 1765 to 1840. And that time it start with the steam power and the rise of the factory system. And also this is come with the machine tools, chemical manufacturing, and iron productions. Then come to the second industrial revolution that it approximately start from 1870 to 1914. And that time it happened to be a start with the rapid industrialization. It is a start with electricity, telephone, and rail. And also it increased the interconnectedness. Then come to the third industrial revolution that it approximately start from 1970 to today. And this time, this is the rise of electronics, microprocessor, telecommunications, and also automation. Next slide, please. Now we have a video clip. please have a look at the video clip that will give you some ideas of fourth industrial revolution.
When technology changes, the world changes with it. History has been witness to industrial revolutions that have taken place over the ages. The first revolution, triggered by steam power, proved that manpower is not the only way to progress. Machines joined muscle and reduced human effort. The second industrial revolution brought the world together with electric power. Leaps in technology paved the way to a new way of life and a global economy. Then, the computer changed everything. Information technology and electronics led the third industrial revolution. Workplaces became smarter, technology got personal, and communication went mobile. The fourth industrial revolution is bringing together physical and digital worlds across industries to create an interconnected global value chain. Powerful technology, incredible connectivity, and unlimited information is available at your fingertips. Breakthroughs like machine learning, artificial intelligence, augmented reality, blockchain, robotics, and Internet of Things are rapidly changing the way we live our lives. The consumer is at the center of a connected ecosystem that delivers personalized needs at any time of choice. Business leaders across the world are gearing up to be a part of this ecosystem and be omnipresent for their consumers. New players enter and disrupt the game every day while constantly changing the rules. Organizations must change the way they work and strategize while adapting to the new world. It's time to leverage emerging technologies and seek collaborative opportunities to provide new and personalized experiences for everyone. Digitalization brings the world closer by erasing physical boundaries and breaking limits. It's important to keep up with the demands of a transforming world that seeks access to incredible opportunities in the most intimate of environments. Are you ready to lead the fourth industrial revolution?
So 3D printing is taking over the world, but how does it actually work? Well, it's quite similar to a normal printer, but then a little different. First, you don't put in an ink cartridge, but instead connect a spool of special printing material like plastic, rubber, or even metal. And you don't print boring text documents, but real-life models of what you've just made on your computer screen. Simply awesome. Right now, you can buy a 3D printer yourself and make complex 3D models with modeling software. But if you're not really a wizard with all that technical stuff, you can buy personalized 3D models online, like fancy toys, bracelets, or phone cases. Then send it to a 3D print shop nearby, choose a material, and pick up your own unique item. Sweet. In the medical world, they're developing 3D printers with special biological material. They're working on printing heart valves, ears, bones, skin, and even printed a small human kidney that can live for 3 months. It's just amazing. And hold on to your seats, they're developing a 3D printer that can print in space and are planning to print a moon base.
Artificial intelligence has been hailed as the next industrial revolution. People think they will change the world by providing smart solutions. Everything solved by AI. Customer service? Replace that with a bot. Data analysis? Replace it with unsupervised learning algorithms. Artificial intelligence has the capacity of understanding so much more than we do. The barriers of seemingly incomprehensible theories of science will be broken easily by the machines of the future. Physical problems, like we solved thousands of times faster than humans could, not only AI will optimize many of our systems, but also create new jobs. We don't know the rate at which it will do this. However, research firm Gartner further confirms the hypothesis of AI creating more jobs than it replaces, by predicting that in 2020, AI will create 2.3 million new jobs while eliminating 1.8 million traditional jobs. Just like AI took away the physical constraints of humans, AI will be able to take away our mental constraints. Just like machines whose strength is hundreds, if not thousands of times stronger than us, AI's intelligence will be hundreds, if not thousands of times smarter than us. What do you think are the most fantastical things yet to be solved by artificial intelligence?
Okay, next slide, please. Okay. Now, if you look at the fourth industrial revolution, actually what is mean by fourth industrial revolution? The fourth industrial revolution refers to the fusion technologies in the physical, digital, and biological domain, including the creation of the new technologies that will drive in a new industrial era characterized by exponential growth, interconnectedness, increased human productivity, and the blurring the lines between man and machine. Next, please. Okay, now look at the Industry 4.0 transformations. If you look at the first industry, start from the Industry 1.0, that is based on the electronics and the what you call, this is the and the steam power. Okay, and the second one is the based on the mass production, and third one is based on the use of electricity and the IT. And the last one is the fourth industrial revolution is based on the cyber physical system, CPS. Next slide, please. Okay, if you look at the first industrial revolution, we call this is the manual revolution, and second one we call the electrical revolution, and third one we call the automation, and the fourth one we call the intelligence. Next, please. Okay, now look at the definition of what is meant by cyber physical system. A cyber physical system, CPS, is a mechanism that is controlled or monitored by computer-based algorithms, and that is tightly integrated with the internet and its users. That means an important components of the fourth industrial revolution, the connection and or combination of the real world and the internet. Okay, next, please. Okay, now look at the components of the fourth industrial revolutions. So the first component we call this is the Industry 4.0. Second one is Society 5.0. Third one is we call the Reality 2.0. That means augmented reality and virtual reality. And then Quality of Life 4.0, Education 5.0, and Healthcare 1.0. Next, please. Okay, now look at the manufacturing revolutions. Start from the Industry 1.0 to Industry 4.0. The first one, actually, this is the Industry 1.0. This is basically the introduction of mechanical productions and equipment by the driven water and the steam power. The second one is the introduction of the manufacturing revolutions and powered by electrical energy. Third one is the introduction of electronics, PLC, device, and IT, automation, all these things. And the fourth one, we call this is the cyber physical systems. Okay, next, please. Okay, if you look at the Industry 4.0, the technology versus skills. Okay, the first one we call the mechanization. that is use the mechanical system. And the second one is we call the electrification, that is use the mechatronic system. And third one we call the digitization, that time they use the automated system. And the last one we call the cyber physical systems. Next, please. Okay, please run the video clip.
The fourth industrial revolution has begun, and you have the chance to be part of it. This isn't going to be like before. It's not about the steam that powered our factories in the first revolution, or the mass production model that dominated the second, or even the emergence of computer-driven systems from the third revolution that we're living in today. Industry 4.0 is about connectivity. It's an opportunity to radically change the way industry responds to the needs of society. As previous industrial revolutions were led by innovations in manufacturing processes and systems, the advancement of Industry 4.0 will be driven by a smart, interconnected, pervasive environment. The opportunities for disruption are huge, and those left behind will feel it acutely. There is still space for leaders of this new revolution to emerge, but the race has already started. Understanding what current leaders are doing will help you join them.
All right, so next is the Industry 4.0 environment. So if you look at the Industry 4.0 environment, there will be a smart mobility, a smart grid, a smart logistic, business web, social web, smart homes, and the smart buildings. And all these components will be connected with the Internet of Things, Internet of Services, Internet of People, and also Internet of Data. Next, please. Okay, now look at the technologies of fourth industrial revolutions. So there are 12 technologies. This is very important for fourth industrial revolutions. These are one is we call the space technologies, AR and VR, augmented reality and virtual reality. And then the neurocomputings, new computing technologies, Internet of Things, geo computing, and then 3D printing, advanced manufacturing materials, and artificial intelligence. Then we have the biotechnologies and energy capture and storage. And last one is blockchain and a digital laser. Next, please. Okay, now look at the technologies that is basically fueling the fourth industrial revolutions. So number one, we call the advanced robotics, big data and analytics, simulation, virtual reality and augmented reality, and then digital integration, advanced manufacturing, cloud computing, and Internet of Things. Next, please. Okay, now look at the technology pillars for fourth industrial revolution. So there are 11 pillars of technological advancements. So start with, for example, the big data analytics, supply chain, additive manufacturing, cloud computing, then new business models, artificial intelligence, cyber security, industrial, Internet of Things, IIoT, then the horizontal and vertical integrations, and the simulation augmented reality, and then automation robotics. Next slide, please. Okay, now the virtual reality and augmented reality in the hospitality industry, especially how we can use this one in the health and healthcare industry. Okay, if you look at the virtual reality, in virtual reality, what actually the user's perception of reality is the completely based on the virtual informations. On the other hand, in the augmented reality, the user is provided with additional computer-generated information that enhances their perception of the reality. For example, in architecture, virtual reality can be used to create a walkthrough simulations of the inside of a new buildings On the other hand, augmented reality can be used to show a building's structures and systems superimposed on a real life view. So this is some of the pictures is given here that can be used in the medical industry. Next slide, please. Okay, now look at the augmented reality. This is used in basically in the medical industry, in the hospital. And nowadays, the augmented reality and the virtual reality that can be combined together used in the medical industry. Okay. And using the augmented reality, the blood vein sometimes is very difficult to find out. So using the techniques of the augmented reality, you can see here the blood vein can be easily can seen. So that it's easy for the doctor to find out the blood vein of the patient. Next slide, please. Okay, nowadays the virtual reality that can be used in the hotel as well. The virtual simulations would be the best tool for hospitality operations to create a compelling customer experience. For example, virtual reality application is the virtual tour video, which offers guests a first-person point of view of the property by simply clicking the mouse or wearing headsets. Guests can experience a digital walkthrough with a 360 degrees view and even see the layout of the rooms in a hotel. Look at some pictures here. So you can see the view of the hotels using the virtual reality. Next slide, please. Okay, now the augmented reality. This is also very important nowadays that can be used in the hotel industry as well. In augmented reality, it is extremely valuable for enhancing customers' indoor experiences in the hospitality industry. So you look at here, it looks like the real. So that means you can walk through using the augmented reality that gives you the real view of the hotel or the places you want to visit. Next slide, please. Okay, IoT in hospitality. In the hospitality industry, IoT provides services such as automated door locks, light switches, electric blinds, voice assistant devices, which are connected to a network. These allow customer to control or monitor their devices from a central server, such as mobile phone or a tablet. So if you look at this picture, so using your mobile phones, you can control all these things, light, AC, everything you can control using the mobile phones. Next slide, please. Okay, in addition, devices such as the luggage cart with GPS function and sensors in the parking lot can help customer to locate their luggages and carts. Thus, IoT helps improve service processes and makes customer experiences smoother. Look at here, so we can use the devices and put inside your luggage. So you can locate your luggage. Where is your luggage? This is very easy for the customer. Where is the luggage? So no need to find out. Okay, you can just from your phone, you can see where is your luggage. And also you can find out your car location. Even you can see where the car is going. You can locate using your phone. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, now the IoT in hospitality that is especially used for the smart home for the elderly healthcare. So this is, there will be wearable sensors, activity detections, then you can monitor the sleep. You can also, there will be home security, there will be energy management, and also there will be remote service platform. So that can be used, especially the IoT in hospitality for the elderly healthcare. Next slide, please. Okay, now the robotics in hospitality. With the advancement in artificial intelligence, the service robots have become more commonplace in hospitality. Service robots play multiple roles in hospitality service production and delivery. For instance, in the service production process, these special robots which emit UV lights to kill viruses and bacteria, which can be used in airports and hotels worldwide to ensure a safe and clean environment. Look at here. So we can use the UV robots that can kill the viruses and bacteria. Even it can kill 99.99%. Next slide, please. Okay, the Yale Boston Hotel. Previous slide. Okay. Then Hotel Boston Hotel was the first hotel to adopt UVD, ultraviolet disinfection robot. The robot drives around autonomously in high-touch public areas and select rooms at the hotel and removing all airborne viruses and bacteria. As an extension of the hotel's smart stay safety operations, the use of the UVD robots not only provide a safe environment, but also assures guests that they are being protected. Next slide, please. Okay. The customers can also use voice control assistance. For example, the Amazon Alexa to control those in-room features and order food or drinks, which can be delivered by autonomous delivery robots. So look at here, the food delivery. Previous slide, please. Food delivery and also service robot that can also guide the guest where the guest wants to go. And room service also given by the service robot. So nowadays, we're thinking of maybe robot and AI is the future of the hospitality industry. Look at here, all these robots here. So this can be in future. That is the hospitality industry can be use the robot and AI. Next slide, please. Okay, now the robots can be used in the medical industry. For example, in the hospital, the robot can monitor the patient 24 hours. That means nurse and other, the service people no need to stay here for long time. Robot can do for them. And look at here, the nowadays, robot can play with the old peoples. Look at here, the old people is playing or talking with the robots. So this is actually the new way of giving the elderly people as the better life towards a better life. I think that's all from my side. Thank you very much for your question.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Shohel, for the fruitful sharing about the current innovations from AI, robotics, VR, AR, and IoT. They are particularly important to improve customer experience in hospitality industry. Now is the time that you're waiting for. We will have Q&A session now. Feel free to post your question at the chat box. After watching interesting sharing from both of our experts, what do you really want to know more in details? You can just type your question in the chat box. And now we can see we have a first question from our audience, which is Vincent Tingwei. So these questions would like to deliver to Mr. Jason. So Mr. Vincent asks, which technology should I start to learn if I would like to get involved with hospitality industry for my career?
Okay. Thank you, Vincent, for sending in these questions. I would assume that you were asking in the perspective of wanted to venture into this hospitality as a career. I would say the best place to start is maybe understand the property management system, because based on my understanding, it's like where all the activities happen, right? So if you understand the PMS, then it will grow from that as a center point, and it goes to the other subsystems. So I would suggest a property management system.
All right. Mr. Jason, maybe Vincent is a student that he wants to know maybe like what kind of language or framework that he should start with.
Okay. In terms of programming language, okay. So I think there was, to me, there's no specific language. It depends on what Vincent wanted to achieve. I found .NET suitable for business application, and I found Python good for AI, big data, and depends on where he wanted to innovate, right? So use the right tool for the right work. So That's based on my understanding as of now. So, but to me, I found very talented programmers would be able to create their own libraries to build stuff they wanted. So I don't think language should be the first thing to consider, but rather understanding what's needed, then grow from there.
Okay, thank you for sharing from Mr. Jason, and I hope Vincent, you get the insight from here. If you have more questions, please type up. Yeah, so the next thing we want to know is from our two speakers, Mr. Jason and Dr. Shohel. So what we can see is currently applying, implementing business for hospitality industry, and Mr. Jason have shown what have been happening now. And then Dr. Shohel is showing the future that can be applied in hospitality industry. So how can we continue to work out this? Maybe we have to know from the side of industry, and then how actually we can link back to this future with all this IoT, AR, and VR. I think Dr. Shohel, maybe you can let us know like how this can penetrate or can actually integrate up with Mr. Jason's business.
I think this is very important. Just now I showed one slide, the artificial intelligence, AI, that is actually can be used into the robotics as well. Okay, so this is very important areas we can focus. AI, this is the future for the, I think, in the hospitality industry that can explore the customer needs. Okay, robot can use for this purpose. I have shown you one slide, right? So that can be including the AI techniques, artificial intelligence, and robot can serve for the hospitality industry. So in different places, that can be the the future for next hospitality industry.
Okay, all right. So robots, yes, we can see there's quite a lot of robots around now. In our restaurant that we saw, they are actually helping to serve the food and also actually can take some orders, right? So besides that, that is for restaurant, right? So how about Mr. Jason? Do you think how can we slowly integrate all these future technologies into your hospitality industry?
My thought to that is the private sector will innovate in a shorter cycle of like 3 to 5 years because we are looking at the commercialization and return on investment. But for the research, I think industrial collaboration obviously will bridge the research innovations to the commercialization part. That's why we have a lot of industrial collaboration projects. I believe MMU has tons of it. Then in terms of from the industry perspective, we always look from the perspective of our customers and also their customers. Like in our case, it's the hotel and the guests who visit hotel. So we look at the user behavior. We look at introducing technology without removing the human part. So sometimes too much of robotic will remove the human interactions and totally remove the experience in total, right? So I think a lot of research needs to be done in bringing the technology to the hotel, so that we actually creating better experience instead of like purely robotic, so the AI has to be done in a way that it comes at the right time, at the right place, at the right moment, So that's what I think of innovations and how to bring it to the customer.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jason, for the sharing. And yes, I do agree with you. Human is still should be there. If only just a robot, sometimes the human will not feel the kind of warmness. As hospitality industry, really need the warmth that we have to feel in our customers and consumer, right? So everyone here is also a consumer. So definitely you know what you need. And of course, can also let us know your opinion, what should be included in hospitality industry in future. And that will be helpful for our industrial speaker here. And also for in academic side, we can try to develop the research in the area as well. Oh, there's one more last questions that we have saw in the Facebook Live. which is from student Garrison. So student Garrison is asking, how about AI with drones? How can it help with agriculture in Malaysia? Actually, today our topic is embracing technology for high quality customer experience in hospitality industry. So in this case here, maybe we can have a short discussion from Dr. Shohel. What do you think about AI with drones? In the sense here, he's asking about agriculture in Malaysia. So maybe you can have this short discussion, Dr. Shohel.
I think this is a very good question, because agriculture is one of the very prominent area that we can work, not only for Malaysia, in the world as well. So in the AI, artificial intelligence, especially, we can also use the drone, and we can use the drone to monitor. For example, maybe we can use the AI techniques inside the drone that can monitor the agriculture field. For example, we want to see whether which area, if you want to use the huge area of agriculture, maybe very difficult to go and visit there. Maybe drone can help go there and visit and see which area is infected by the disease or infected by the the insect. So in that area they can find out, and drone can go and then can spray, for example, pesticide. Okay, so this is the way. Not only this one, maybe we can monitor in such a way that the fruit, or maybe the rice, paddy, whether this is ripened or not. What is the condition for this, whether we can cut or not. So this is the thing we can monitor through the drone. And that is the one of the use, maybe AI techniques we can use there.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Shohel, for the sharing. Although it's not the focus of topic today, but hope that I have give some sharing here for students, and hope that this will be helpful for you to know about this. All right. So actually, we are near to the end of the webinar, and we would like to thank you for the feedback of both experts. Hope they are helpful for you. And the time that we have here, of course, is limited. So that's why we can only discuss 2 questions. All right. So as a closing remark, all right, digital technologies do play a part in helping to provide high quality customer experience in hospitality industry. The pandemic has increased the adoption of digital technologies in the hospital industry with unimaginable speed. Indeed, this is a good news for us as a consumer. I believe we start to be aware that this change around the hospital system, hospitality systems, all right? So the hotel system that you want to go on later, maybe during the travel, you might see a change after this pandemic. Our university will also continuously work closely with hospitality industry to fine-tune our programs to meet the market needs. Before I end this sharing session, I would like to thank a few parties who contributed to this webinar. First, it's wonderful having both experts today, who are Mr. Jason and Dr. Shohel, to share their experience and opinions related to technology adoption in hospitality industry. Secondly, I would like to thank a list of organizers, which are Industrial Collaboration and Engagement Center, ICEC, under the Research Industrial Collaboration and Engagement RISE Division, co-organized by Faculty of Information Science and Technology. Of course, with the help of our MMU Studio, Strategy Marketing Department under Strategy Marketing, Admission Recruitment Smart Division, and the technical support team that we have here, making this webinar conducted successfully. Last but not least, will be you, our audience, that are staying with us for more than 1 hour here. Thank you for your attention throughout this webinar. I hope that you enjoyed this session. Every one of us here, please take care, stay safe, have a nice day. See you again. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Wonder how fast intelligent machines run on 5G? At MMU, you'll find the answer. Wonder how creative content and online businesses are mastered? At MMU, you'll find the answer. Wonder how cybersecurity and law function? At MMU, you'll find the answer. Find out all these and many more at Multimedia University, because MMU is you, leading the digital future. Visit mmu.edu.my.